And welcome back to part 2 of our interview with Peter Coulson, and this is episode 014. And now we're going to dive into some more fun stuff. We're going to get into a bit of business, and then we're going to dive deep and see the kind of things that Peter likes and the things that Peter doesn't like. So hang on to your seats. It's going to be another fun ride, and here we go. Actually, can we? I'd like to just dive just a small section we got here on business, really, Peter. So. I mean, would you say that? I mean, in my intro, I said, we're mocking, but a third commercial, a third educational, and a third of shoot what you want. Is that a fairly good representation of your business model?
It's what my business model was always aimed to be. About 2 years ago, it drifted away from that. I was doing nothing personal. Ooh. Like it went from 4 years ago to 2 years ago. It just slowly moved away from where I wanted to be, and it just ended up being working 7 days a week, 12 to 14-hour days, doing stuff I hated, literally hated. And I actually got in a really bad place. I was very, very, very close to giving up commercially.
Wow, really?
And just early retiring, and then just do whatever I felt like doing. Changed assistants round about this time, started just keeping my business running, and we have massive overheads. My studio's massive, all those things.
That's the next question, yeah.
So once my new assistant came in and saw what was happening, we reworked how it was supposed to work. So now I still do 1/3 commercial.
Okay.
But I most likely only do maybe 1/3. So I don't know the difference. So 1/3 commercial, 1/2 private.
Okay.
And the other bit in between is educational. So as much as people see me doing lots of educational, the workshops we average 2 to 3 days a month.
Okay.
So it's very little.
Okay, yeah.
It looks like I'm doing, but we'll go 2-3 months and not even have one, and then we'll fly and we'll do, even our trip through Europe, we only did 2 days here, 2 days there.
Yeah.
Zurich, all right. Zurich has for 5 days straight, and they've already booked me for 7 days next year.
Jesus, wow.
Place like Barcelona, we just...
Is that light bite?
Yeah, light bite. We do really well there. We've got a really good following there.
Oh man, yeah, they love you there. Yeah.
They're really nice guys there too, but
they are good guys. Yeah.
With what we've done with our other side of things, which is our online tutorials and our live streams and things like that, that's me shooting my shit.
Yeah,
that's my personal stuff.
That's your personal stuff.
But see, the way the world has changed. When I was doing 1/3, 1/3, 1/3. Part of my work was, or a lot of my work was doing editorial for magazines, and that was paid work. Mm-hmm. Good luck getting paid to do an editorial these days.
Yeah, don't we know it? All three of us. I mean, I know our listeners can't see our faces here, but we're all blowing steam out of our ears when that statement comes out. Good luck getting paid.
It's been a good few years. Yeah.
Thanks to YouTube, thanks to Inspire, especially our own page, it pays our editorials. So we shoot our editorials. We're not tied by anybody. We're not tied by designers, because it's a proper editorial. There's 7 or 8 different designers within that editorial. And then we send it off to magazines. And then I get bookings from people who see them in the magazines. I've made my money out of people watching how I work, really working. So now I'm doing my private stuff and making money. So it's actually sort of 1/3 commercial time, and 1/2 of my time is actually shooting what I want to shoot. I decide what we're going to shoot.
Wow.
I contact the models, I contact the designers. You'll see on all our shoots, we just finished doing one 2 days ago.
Yeah.
Which we put up on live on YouTube a day ago or something. And that was you working with a stylist, and not that you've seen it on the YouTube one, but on our own site one, there's a good 20, 30 minutes at the start of it explaining why I hate stylists and why I hate hair and makeup artists and why And he's sitting there going, and then he agreed that he could understand collaboration is the world's worst word for a photographer.
Yeah. Yeah.
So Jake,
Too many cooks.
So yeah, Jake, we're going to do a collaboration. I'm going to hair and makeup artist. I'm going to get a stylist in there, and I'll get an art director in there. What's happened to your work? Where's your work at the end of it? You've got no say.
Exactly. I know.
Yeah.
Everybody else wants what they want.
Too many
Become
cooks.
that picture taker
Too many
again,
cooks,
don't you?
yeah.
The button pusher.
Yeah.
Well, it's not only that, but the image loses its impact when everybody is trying to get their
5 cents.
get their little shoe
Their
in.
impact, yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, in this tutorial, I actually showed how I work with that. So he styled up a look. I shot it. And once he said, yeah, I've seen some shots I love, I said, good, I hate your friggin' styling.
And then you ripped it apart, didn't
Coco
you?
Chanel, get rid of this, get rid of that, get rid of that. We're going to put on this, and then I'll shoot my bit. We're both happy. So he's happy with my photography. He's happy with my lighting. He's happy with my direction. I'm just not happy with his styling. I'm happy with the clothes he brought, but I want to have my look, which is different.
Good way of putting it. Well, at least you were courteous enough to shoot both and not just go, you're styling shit. You're styling shit.
It's true. That's true, man. Yeah.
Let's rip that off and shoot what I want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, if you're going to do a test, it's got to be everybody involved in a test needs to walk away with something. All our time's worth something.
Sure.
So I always try and have it that everyone walks away with something.
Yeah, that's nice. So actually, Jake, it's even better then because, I was going a third, and a third. In actual fact, just to make us even more jealous, Peter's shooting 50% of everything is exactly what he wants to shoot, not a third.
Yeah, I mean, but I think Peter's not sleeping, obviously.
No, it still works
that's
7
where I'm
days a
going
week.
wrong. Yeah. Oh, I
He works
see.
7 days a week.
But for 50% of that 7 days a week, it's not work. It's what I would do if I wasn't working.
Okay, yeah, well, there's passion for you, isn't it? There you go. You've hit that nail straight there. Now, we've mentioned before, and both Jake and I are a bit jealous with this. Now, you have a beautiful studio in Melbourne, don't you? It's big, it's spacious, who wouldn't die for a space like that, hey, Jake? Really?
Hey, you could do with blocking up some of those windows, but otherwise, yeah.
I was waiting for that.
Yeah, Jake's nocturnal and grows fangs when the moon comes up. So it's like, that's a big space to run. Like you say, overheads and things commercially, it's got to pay for itself in that respect. But then you also have that space if you're shooting indoors and in the studio to shoot your 50% of your life, whatever you want. But what we don't see on camera, how many people do you have in your team? Do you have a big team, a small team? Because you push out quite an amount of work, don't you? You shoot lots. You live stream on YouTube. You put creative videos together from your shoots, and you also create some of your own music as well, don't you, for them?
Yeah, well, that's the other side of my thing is I do more and more of my clients are getting me to do stuff and then supply a video as well as then the music on it, and I tend to write the music. So, but that's something I do. So it's something I call that's part of my time. That's something I love doing. Okay. Yeah, I have a massive team of one.
I knew he was going to say that. I knew he was freaking going to say that, Jake.
Yeah. It's all fueled by whiskey.
Hold on, let's
alone.
just drop the mic and walk away.
She is fueled by red wine. If you ever get to meet Beck, you'll know exactly what I'm saying. Beck.
I've seen back on your YouTube videos. Yeah, and obviously running around with the camera.
At 3 o'clock every day, the camera. There's no running around with the camera. It's running around with a glass of red wine. So,
I respect it, man. I like her style.
There's nothing worse than going on set and someone set up the lighting, someone's built the back, someone's done all. You just walk in, someone hands you a camera. I know all the major photographers in the world. They do nothing. They walk on set. They take some frames, then they walk off set. They never pick the pictures. They don't retouch them. They just push a button for 5 minutes.
Bizarre to me, yeah.
And I don't have anything against them because I understand that's how it is.
The commercial work.
For me, my clients, they come in and go, "Where's all your crew?" I said, "I don't need a crew." And go, "What about the lights?" I said, "I set them up." Nobody's setting my lighting up. My lighting is it's religious to me.
But I enjoy that process as well.
Love it.
I would hate to get to a point where you just didn't get to do anything. Like, why am I bothering to do it? You know?
No, I thoroughly enjoyed the setup. I enjoy the pack down. That's my chill time while everything's getting doubly backed up and all of that. I'm packing the whole place down.
I like the pack
and
down as
I
well.
enjoy
It's therapeutic, isn't it?
Beck's employed to drink as much red wine as she can in a day and answer emails and do all the stuff I don't want to do. So she does the books, she does all my calendars, she does there's a fair bit of work with us traveling, accommodation models, Airbnb, studios, then all our commercial work, and then slotting our commercial work in between workshops when we're traveling. And then trying to get some test shoots done with amazing models we only get to work with once a year. It's pretty hectic, and that's you notice that when I was in London, I really literally had half an hour free.
Yeah. We missed you at that point, didn't we? Unfortunately, it would have been nice to have done this one in person. But okay, I freaking knew he was going to say that there wasn't a big team and it was just him and Beck. I just saw that coming a mile off, but I still had to ask the question for our listeners. So for all our listeners,
hair and makeup.
Oh yeah,
commercial will have hair and makeup come in, and if Beck needs a hand with behind the scenes videoing things, because Beck does do a lot of behind the scenes video, and I've taught her that. So she was never a video. She was actually a model. That's how I met her.
I see.
And then I've trained her to do the video in the way I want it videoed, and that way she's getting the look that I want. I don't want it too clean. I want a bit of shake. I don't want it to be perfectly framed. So that's not the look. I want it to feel like you're standing next to me looking over my shoulder. Yeah. I don't want this perfect high-end production. Like Masterclass was amazing, but absolute crap.
Right.
So I don't know if you watched any of it. It's just so
don't hold back,
beautifully
Peter.
lit.
Don't hold back.
No, it was beautifully lit and it was beautiful sound, but nothing felt believable because it didn't feel real. It felt like a movie.
Okay. Yeah.
So I found it really alien to listen, and I watched Deadmau5, and I love Deadmau5, but I was down and watched Zimmerman, and I really like Zimmerman, and that left me flat. And Annie Leibovitz, sorry, I love your photos, Annie, but I hated what she did on Masterclass. To me, it was like a doco. It was definitely not, and it was overproduced to the hilt, and we've purposely gone that way. I edited one up today, which was shot in the bathroom of a house, and the room is tiny. We're running 3 cameras in this tiniest bathroom you've ever seen, as well as having me in there shooting the shoot.
Wow.
But then everyone's going to feel the way that.
So all those photographers or wannabe photographers out there, when you go and look at Peter's work on his website and YouTube and Instagram and his personal work and his live streams, shit, man, he's doing that on his own +1 and getting all that content out there and shooting the imagery and retouching it and getting commercial work done. So there's no freaking excuse for any of us, Jake? It puts us to shame.
Well, I mean, let's just take a moment to plug that then. So your online education, because you have is it like a streaming service or a monthly fee, like a subscription service, like a training academy? What is it you've got there?
Yeah, it's a monthly subscription or yearly, so you can book a year. It's cheaper, or monthly, which means you can go on, watch a month and disconnect, come back 6 months later and watch everything we made in 6 months. But pretty much we try and get a decent tutorial up every 2 weeks. So when I mean that, it's normally got 6 or 7 videos which run for at least 10 to 15 minutes each within that tutorial. So there'll be the setup, might be interview with a model, might be going through this, look 1, 2, 3, 4. Then there might be the retouching of it. So different, we're trying to hit it from different angles. We've got lots of ideas of stuff we haven't do, but we do lots of model interviews because photographers really need to hear what models hate.
Yeah, nice.
And then they might stop doing it and they'll get better pictures.
Nice. Yeah.
Can you give us an example of a few pet hates that models have that you hear regularly?
Yeah, it's the same 3 hates, and we do even on our workshops we travel. every time we get to a model that we haven't had before, and we say to them in front of them, have you ever met me before? No. Cool. So you don't know what these questions are going to be, and I guarantee you already know the answers. So I say, I want you to tell me the worst 3 photographers that you work with. And they normally say Jake Hicks. They normally say, no. No, they normally...
It's just all that colour just ruined it.
No, I say the type of photographer. And without a doubt, they always say...
Hyper.
They always say the very worst photographer is a photographer that says nothing.
Yeah.
Just clicks.
Okay. Yeah.
Does not say, that's pretty, that's nice. Or this is what we're going to do. Doesn't give them any feeling. They just walk in, he starts clicking, says nothing because he's too scared to say anything. He doesn't think he knows what to say. That is the model standing there going, does he like this? Does he hate it? Does he want me pretty? Does he want me strong?
Yeah.
That is the worst. The second worst is the over-posing photographer. The one that has a picture
micromanaging
and tries to copy and puts a little finger here and this and will never get the picture because that picture that he's copying was actually taken on the move. It wasn't a frozen shot.
Yeah.
And then the third one is the sleazy photographer, the one that wants to see more than the model wants to show or wants to sleep with her or wants to touch her. So they're pretty much every model says the same thing.
Wow. That's amazing. Summed up in 3 points. Look at that. Perfect.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah.
Crazy, isn't it? It's like
Go on. I normally say that the very first thing I say to a model is, guess what? I talk heaps. I give heaps of direction, but I don't overpose, and I'm happily married. I'm not interested in you.
Yeah.
Answer the 3 questions before they get questions. Yeah. It's like I say in some of my workshops to people is that, you know, you've got to talk or communicate. Even if you're not directing and posing, at least communicate and give feedback because, you know, the model can't see what's in your viewfinder or on the back of your camera. And if you don't feed that back to them, they have no idea what's going on.
Yeah, exactly.
Especially with those of us with more than one light, you know, they need to know where to look and stuff.
No, a good model always knows where the light is.
Yeah, that's right. Power. Power of one light, man. The power of one light.
I don't know, man. Yeah. Well, anybody can tell us where one light is. Yeah.
So, Peter, do you think photography has lost its way a little bit in the commercial world over the years?
Completely. I think the digital has made photography lose its way because in the past, if you went out and bought a digital camera, there was no way known you could go out a week later and do a commercial shoot.
Mm-hmm. No.
But you can now with the digital.
Yes. Yeah.
Agreed.
Far too easily.
Right.
Yeah.
The amount
especially even if you bugger it up, somebody can pull that back. You know, like a high-end retoucher can just turn it into whatever they want. You know. Yeah.
The amount of things. There's so many photographers that I know, more so in Australia than overseas, that fairly new, only been doing it 4 to 6 months. I'd come and do my workshops, and within a month they're running their own workshops.
Oh God, don't. Yeah, for our listeners, one of Jake's heads just turned away in pain there, and laughing at the same time because we've seen it happen badly.
Whereas in film, you could never ever do that, and I learned my skill in film. I used to have to go out on fishing boats, full sun, middle of the day, shoot smelly fishermen with world record fish.
Right.
And I'd get 3 frames of that fish, and that was it.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, it's a different skill set, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just that time thing. I'm not dishing on people digital. I just think that it's really easy to put everything into P for professional and go click and get a really good image that most commercial clients would be happy with.
Yeah.
Especially if you've got an attractive young lady in front of you. I mean,
yeah.
Turn it black and white.
And that's it as well, isn't it? I think it's... and that's it as well, isn't it? I think both sides of that party are guilty. It's not just the digital age have made too many unskilled photographers, but it's also made the industry quite lazy and accepting a lesser quality because cameras can do a great portion of the work now as well, isn't it? So the clients are guilty.
And if anything... The soul,
regardless of how good the camera is, there's no intent, is there? Yeah. That's the thing. Camera can never have intent.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. So I mean, you know, we see a lot of pixel peepers out there, You know, where it's all about, at the moment, it's all about sharpness and bokeh, the sharpest lens with the best bokeh. I mean, what do you think are some of the common pitfalls or delusions that you see in newer photographers today? And what do you think photographers in this modern age are missing?
Soul.
That's the biggest one I thought was going to come out, yeah. And I agree with you 100%, yeah. Again, it was almost like no intent.
You listen to a classically trained piano player who's never played live and has only ever played off music classical, and you sit him next to a street jazz or blues piano player, and I don't care what type of music you're into, you'll end up loving the self-taught. There's a soul. He'll change. There's no rules. There's nothing. Things don't fit in the box, and that's why things are so nice. When everything sits in a box, it just doesn't feel real. It feels computer generated. And it's like you watch movies like Fast and Furious, like they're the world's worst. You don't believe a single stunt. You don't believe a single car crash. Nothing looks real. But then go back and watch something like Vanishing Point or Gone in 60 Seconds or Death Proof, Tarantino's Death Proof. Those car chases feel like real car chases. Yeah. You swear you're in that car, and you really swear you're going to die in that car.
Yeah. So it's almost like the real life scenarios and the soul and the impact behind that, rather than the clinical approach.
There's no such thing as a rule of thirds. But yeah, look, I think the more you put a box on yourself in your rules that you're going to shoot within, the more boring your photos are going to get into. And I've got some stuff that we show in workshops, and everyone kills themselves laughing, but they all agree that before they did my workshop, they would have agreed with that comment.
Okay.
But once they finish doing the workshop, there's no way known they agree with that comment, because that's why that picture works.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it didn't sit in a box. It felt different. It felt real. Okay. And yeah, look, I get comments all the time, and I always answer people nicely. I'm not into that. I hate fights. If they try and put my models down, say they're too skinny or too fat or whatever, I'll just delete them. But if they say, horrible cropping or things like that, I try and educate them to, if I cropped it the way you would like it cropped, then it's your picture, it's not my picture.
Yeah, true.
Because if I didn't like my crop, I would never have shown the world that. In fact, if I didn't like anything about the pictures, no way known I would have published it. So I've published it because I like it. And that, I had one the other day, the girl had bent her leg and some guy's got an amputee. And I said, yeah, I love amputees.
Yeah.
Well, it didn't bother me, so that's why I put it up there. And it still doesn't bother me today, because that's what someone looks like when they tuck a leg under themselves.
Yeah, right. Yeah, and it shouldn't anyway, should it, at the end of the day?
No.
It shouldn't bother anyone.
And every now and then I'll put something up purposely to upset photographers.
It's keeping it fresh.
Oh, man. Brilliant.
I did a tilt shift once at I think 1.8, and I made the far eye so out of focus it looked like an oyster.
Right.
And anybody who wasn't a photographer loved it, and anybody who was a photographer could not look at it.
Really?
Interesting. Okay.
Who's going to buy my work?
Yeah, true.
Agreed.
Not photographers.
Not photographers, yeah, indeed. So, I mean, for photographers of today, I mean, who want to try and make it, let's say, in the commercial world, where do you think they should and shouldn't advertise their work to try and get noticed, or get on that ladder of progression? Because I know a lot of people question putting the work on lots of photographers' sites. Like we just said, who's going to buy your work?
You just beat me to it. I was just going to say that so many photographers only put their work up on 500 pix f-stoppers or all those other photographer sites. So you're wasting your time putting your pictures up to people who are never going to book you or never going to pay you, just so you can get patted on the back by people who would never buy it.
Yeah.
No, it's never. And this is Gary V, who's this talker from the States. I get sick of his podcast and that, but I still really like his attitude. The world has never been easier ever for a creative person.
Yeah, true.
Right? It's never been easy. If you want to be a singer, you want to be a painter, you want to be a musician, you want to be an actor, you want to be a photographer, you have all this opportunity at your fingertips, and it's called social media. YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Pinterest, all of the Twitter. Put your shit up there. If the world loves it, you're going to get famous. If the world hates it, you're going to have to make it better.
Oh, shit, that's answered my question
It's
about my
that
work. That's why I don't have very many followers.
Something on the news came up today, and it showed 5 or 6 kids on YouTube. And there was a 6 or 7-year-old girl from London. She had pulled in over $1.8 million off her YouTube channel in 1 year.
Wow.
Right through to a 14-year-old kid in the States was $28 million just doing opening boxes of games. That's all he did.
Yeah. What is it?
Right? So do stuff that people want to see, or do stuff that you love and hope enough people in the world love it enough that you'll get booked that way. So I really believe it's Justin Bieber made it because of social media. Kardashians would not be where they were today if it wasn't social media.
So true.
90% of the Notta models or the Insta models are only, and all the influencers, sorry, did I say that wrong? They've made good livings out of doing what they do that people want to watch.
And I think that we are so well connected now, so many of us are online that even the most niche of things, like you can find an audience for now, just because you'll find enough people who are into that niche as well.
Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it?
Do you enjoy the process though of social media, or do you just see it as a necessary evil and let's just get it done and let's get on with the main stuff?
I would like it more if it didn't have algorithm shit.
Yeah.
I would like it. I would like it so much better if it hadn't been tried to be monetized as it is, because before Facebook and Instagram went crazy with their algorithm stuff, if your shit was good, you got lots of likes, you grew very quickly.
Yep.
And I don't understand Facebook especially. So people want to go on Facebook to look at stuff that they want to look at, but now Facebook is now not allowing you to see that unless that person pays. So you only see stuff that you didn't like or want to see. I don't get it. So if someone got up to 200,000 followers, then Facebook will only let 0.1% of the people that said, I want to follow this person, but then let that person look at someone that has 12 followers. How's the audience ever going to be happy? When most of the times anything I really want to follow, I always say show first in my feed, so make sure that I actually see what I want to follow. And it's not normally photography related; it's normally sim racing or car racing. But so look, that's the only thing that annoys me, because it was a really good platform to grow if you came up with a style that people liked: music, photography, art, whatever. And now it's been squashed. But I have found that I just keep putting up a picture a day that I like. That's all I do, is put one picture a day up on each of the social media platforms that I like. If I've got nothing I like, I don't put something up.
So content is key then. Absolutely. You got to have stuff to be putting out. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, you've got to create the content. And I understand with people that are weekend shooters, it's a bit harder, but just put your very best picture up for the month, one a month. You're still putting some nice content up. And you could, you can find the target audience you're looking for, and you could just then put posts up of something like, if you want to get into fashion photography, you could simply find a little blog or a picture and just say, this picture is amazing, shot by such and such. This is the style I'd love to do, which will attract people to follow you, because you're going to put up stuff that's within the style.
You've got a voice.
Yeah. And you've got a style, and you're showing the world, this is a style and this is what I think about it. And by the way, here's my photo.
So just on that, and I find, and I'm just basing this off my own thoughts and the way that I'm seeing social media going at the moment. You mentioned about if you're not shooting all the time, which many people aren't, they're only doing a couple of weekend shoots, something like that, and you just put your best image out a month. Do you think that today you can get away with that? Do you think it is better to put up, well, let's just put I know we took a lot of images. These aren't my greatest images, but do you think that quantity, just regularity, is more important than just putting out? When I say more important, I mean to gain traction. Do you think that it's more important to put more images out consistently rather than just putting out one phenomenal one once a month?
Like most of my shoots, I tend to put the very best picture up. That's it.
Okay.
Why would you put the second best up? Unless it was a different look.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if we change clothes, like some pictures, there's just two that I just love both of them, and I might just put them up. But I'll do my normal thing. So when I did shot in Milan, I had 12 test shoots in there. Every one of the models was told, you're just going to have to wait for the photos. They'll come out in dribs and drabs. They're like Christmas presents and birthday presents. I'll most likely drib and drab your images up over the next 6 months. And at first, I said, it works the best because there's mostly going to be, out of our 1 or 2 hour shoot, there's going to be 3 or 4 really good pictures. If I just gave you all those pictures, you're going to dump them all up in one day.
One hit.
And people are going to see the first picture and go, wow. They're going to see the second picture. Oh, yeah, that's good. The third picture, oh, yeah, I've seen something. Yeah, fourth picture, yeah, I've been there.
Spent.
Whereas if you put one picture up a month, you're going to get a wow on every one of those pictures. Mm-hmm. So now if you work with a photographer every week, that means you're going to be able to put up some new picture every week. So a photographer works with, if he dedicates, and if he wants to become a commercial photographer, he can't just shoot 1 hour a week. Mm. He needs to, convince his wife or convince his boss, let me work 4 days a week, but I'll work 12-hour days or whatever it is, and then have the Friday off that then he shoots 2 or 3 test shoots a week. So he can put content out every week, but he only puts one picture out of this shot. If you look at my social media, you'll see that you'll never see the same model appear within 6 or 7 days of each other. You'll never see anything from the same shoot within 2 weeks.
Okay. So
you split
the frequency of them.
Just dribbles out.
Yeah. Nice.
Okay.
Nice.
Always keeps it fresh.
Yeah.
Nobody knows what's going to be hit the next day.
It's a good way of doing it. Very good way of doing it. Yeah. It's now on your jumping to your educational side of things, your online, your education online and workshops all over the world. I mean, what is it that you enjoy about training others, or educating others rather than training others? Yeah.
I love the light bulb moments, and what I really, really, really enjoy is bringing people back to simplicity and letting them understand that, see how I work, you can work this way. You don't have to. I'm a very simple person, so I'll work very simple. So we'll do a lighting setup, and I'll move an octabox. Maybe I might move it 10 centimeters, just turn it a little bit 10 centimeters. And I'll take a picture, and I'll show everyone the picture before and the picture after. I said, do you all know why I did that? And nobody will know why I did it. And when I say, to see if it's better or worse.
Okay.
That's it, yeah.
And then they all crack up with laughter. I said, that's how I light. If I didn't move it, I wouldn't know if I had a better light there. But if I move it that way and it went worse, maybe if I move it back the opposite way, it might get better.
Right.
And it's that dumbing things down so anybody can do it. And when they realize that we get into, and we normally we do a natural light workshop, and we normally find the ugliest location, not cool ugly. I'm talking ugly.
Ugly.
I'm talking suburban streets with white vans in them and yellow cars and rubbish bins and nothing. And when we do shots and they go, I cannot believe this looks like this was shot in a studio. And then they realize we only need 500 wide and 500 high behind the model's head
to get that shot. Yeah.
And we need the light. So if we use that white van as a bounce light up against this wall, we can get the most amazing studio light off this beautiful one light which was provided to us.
There it is again, Jake.
And we don't use reflectors. We don't use any. We go out with cameras only.
That's cool.
And I show them how to create high-end commercial work in the ugliest streets we can find.
I think
in full middle of the day sun.
I think that's one hell of a valuable lesson. I mean, strip it back to bare bones. There's your camera. There's your lens or lenses. off you go. Learn light, learn your.
It's tricky to it is tricky to gel the sun, but I mean,
Should have got a few rolls back there somewhere, Jake. I mean, you can stick together.
Australia, it's not hard. We just wait for summer and the bushfires start. We end up with this beautiful orange glow.
Yeah,
Jesus.
Yeah. I mean, your workshops are like you say. I know you say you do one month, or perhaps another 2 months later. But you do, like your current tour coming up. You in the US, you've got 4 different locations planned, haven't you? 3 at 2 days and 1 at 3 days. But your workshops sell out like crazy, don't they?
Yeah, look, predominantly every now and then we will have a dud one, but normally some places like Germany, they don't like paying for it. They rather buy a lens.
Okay.
So they just look at this money, I could buy a lens, I'm going to buy a lens. But I sort of have the attitude, well, you've already got 4 lenses, and if you can't use them properly, why do you want a 5th lens you can't use properly? It's not me being cocky.
No, it's true.
No, I'm not being cocky. It's more, let me show you, take you back to the absolute basics of photography and get you to understand
You can do with it.
how light really works. And I have a simple 3 little setups I do, which shows how direction of light, contrasting of light, and then putting the 2 together. Then you can shoot anywhere in the world. Once you can understand how light works, now we can use doorways, windows, we can use octoboxes, we can use harsh bare bulbs, we can use anything, and I can get the same look out of it. Yeah. We even did a tutorial showing I could light this same look with a large octobox right down to a bare bulb and create the same look.
Okay. Valuable lessons learned. Like what we've always said previously before, isn't it, Jake, some things is you got to learn light, man. No matter which way you look at it, you got to learn light. Without light, your frame is dark.
What's photography, Steve?
Yeah, I'm seeing more and more of a pull towards the like the 10-minute YouTube video that skips right to the end and put your light here and put your light here and you're going to get this same image. And I think it's it's a shame to see these videos and tutorials get just edited down so that all the actual working, like you said, Peter, like I'm going to move this light this way to see if it looks good. Oh, it doesn't. I'm going to move it back and go the other way. Like all that stuff is cut out. But to me, that's where the learning is. Like seeing somebody, working with the setup and the lighting and making those mistakes is just as valuable as this is how you do it correctly.
One of our tutorials was doing a setup with a naked girl with a box on her head, a Corona box on her head. And we spent 40 minutes on that one light. And we recorded that. We cut it down to about 37 minutes. There was a couple of bits I just cut out.
Trim the fat.
Brilliant.
One of the comments that came up was a guy said, I cannot believe, you are the only photographer in the world that would do a tutorial 30 minutes setting up one light. And he said it was the most enjoyable tutorial I've ever watched.
That's you can't argue with feedback like that, can you?
There you go.
Sure.
Yeah, exactly. There you go. Yeah.
Because I explained...
There is a huge amount of merit in that. Yeah.
Well, I explained exactly why I was doing it and what I was doing. And this, I'm not sure what this is going to do. I'm going to turn this a bit and then take a shot and see if I like it. No, see how it's cut. I liked it better and I point out what my eyes were seeing, Now, a lot of people wouldn't have seen that, but they know when they take a picture, they can look with their eyes and go, oh, I don't like that. If I do this, did it make it better? No, it didn't. So if I do that, will it make it better? And we dumbed down, and we've got quite a few tutorials. We did one the other, maybe 6 months ago, and it was really fun to do because I had no idea how to do it. We were copying someone else's light.
Ah, okay.
And in fact, what we were doing, we were making up a commercial shoot as if a client's walked in and had 3 photos and said, I want the background to be this, I want the foreground to be this, and I want this as well. And then built the light from scratch. And we ended up using 2 milk bottles in front of a gridded light on the floor as our backlight.
Okay.
And they saw the process to what I thought I'd have to do, and it just failed. It looked terrible.
Wow.
It was amazing. When I used 2 empty milk bottles as a gobo on this thing, all of a sudden we got this beautiful effect on the back wall. And they saw the process of making right through to getting the light set up. And then the next one was actually then getting the model to pose correctly for that lighting and then the retouching to finish that one single picture off. So it was all about creating one photo. And I think that there was 5 videos or sections of 20 minutes long in that.
Awesome. Okay. And do each of those videos come out once a fortnight? Then is that what you're saying?
The whole group will come out together. So if we do, like we just did a tutorial with Tish the other day, I think there's 6 videos in it, so that all gets released every one of the whole 6 will be released as a one every 2 weeks.
Bloody hell, Peter, that's phenomenal content you're putting out there. Jesus.
One man as well, Jake. One
But
man.
the way we look, we've learned it. Look,
One man and a drunk woman.
in my early days, there was one of the ones we did, and it was Tisha on the beach, and it was a 15-minute tutorial, and it took 62 hours of editing for me to put it together.
Jesus, what?
And this is back in the time when I was going to give up photography. And by getting back on board and doing it more the way we do it, we shoot with between 3 and 5 cameras. We also have audio. We record it all. We just drop it into Pluralize. It then puts it all into separate tracks for us. We drop it into Final Cut Pro. I can just go camera 1, camera 2, camera 3. We're using the one soundtrack for the whole thing, so that just sits under the bottom. I can now, I can edit really quick. We tend to show most of what we did, so we don't like to cut out too much unless it was just a camera died or something happened and it was 20 minutes wasted, doing something. So a lot of it, some of the edits are taking me, if it's a 2 hours worth of tutorial, it might only take me 3.5, 4 hours to edit it. So and it's because we do want it a little bit rough. We don't want it
Polish it too much.
slick and polished. We actually want it to feel like someone's looking over your shoulder.
And if people want to skip through it, they can.
They can, yeah.
It's a video, yeah. So give them the choice. I like it.
Minimal effort for you, Jake. You like that even more, mate, don't you?
That's what I'm thinking about. Yeah, I'm just thinking about putting a CCTV camera up and job done.
With a webcam. Where you go?
Yeah.
I don't want to go as far as some people. I don't know if you heard of Gary V.
Yeah,
if not, look him up. But if you listen to his podcasts, that's horrible. The sound is terrible. Half the time you can't hear him talking. But he's got over 1 million people listening to him. So at the end of the day, the people, to me, sounds very important. But when you watch his YouTubes and that, it's the content people really want. So if you I still don't want to put crap out there, but I'm not going to try and we use a gimbal and we put a couple on a tripod, and I put the little RX on top of my Hasselblad. And there's a view of my camera view is people are seeing exactly what I'm seeing off one of the cameras at all times. So I can just flick to the camera that's mounted to my hot shoe.
No way. Okay.
That is clever.
Clever.
What camera have you?
Mate, I'm sold.
What camera have you got on your hot shoe then, Peter, for that?
That's it.
The RX 100.
Okay, so you just attach that to the top of it and away you go.
So there's a little Manfrotto ball head which sits on. It's a hot shoe ball head, and that just goes onto the top of my house on the hot shoe.
Tiny one.
Yeah, that.
Yeah.
Oh no, it's better than that.
Yeah, I haven't got the.
It's a bit bigger than that, but it's.
Oh, all right.
It's better. It's not plastic. It's actually.
So the metal one. It's a metal one. It's a small HD one.
It's made in America, not England.
I looked at the quality of this one. This is definitely not made in England. It's China, I think, for this one. But yeah, I know.
No, it's
and Peter only shoots landscape, so
it's
it's all right.
true.
It just sits on top.
Yeah, well,
It's not like
that makes it easy because I do pretty much only shoot landscape unless I'm doing commercial work, and sometimes then I'll put my camera
the other way.
I've got L brackets on all my cameras, and the L bracket gets used to mount cameras on the side to video when I need to use the hot shoe.
Okay.
Oh yeah, nice, clever. Bloody hell, that's a lot of weight. Christ.
Have you ever lifted up a Hasselblad?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's hence why I got rid of them. I moved to the mirrorless.
Have you ever lifted up an Otis 100 on the mirrorless?
No, I haven't, to be fair. No, does that put it back into the realms of 4-5 territory weight?
Yeah.
It's a big piece of glass.
I think we've covered some of this, but you obviously said throughout this entire podcast that just how much you shoot is just a sheer volume of images that you shoot, and you say that maybe in a shoot you'd only take in 2, maybe 3 shots from it. Like, what is it that to you stands out as this is a truly great image? Like, are there signifiers, or do you just know? Are you looking for triggers because it's not like in focus, correctly exposed, that sort of thing? Because we've already covered that. But is it just something that in you immediately, as soon as you see it, that's the one that I love, or are you looking for something specific?
For my own work, it's no different to if someone gave you a photo book and you just flick through and all of a sudden you go, oh, I love that. It's that simple. It's just the image that just talks to you. So, look, on some of our work, we might, especially some of my bigger commercial work, we might shoot 2,000 frames for one picture. But it's because the art directors aren't really sure exactly what
they want.
So there's a bit of playing around and a bit of trial and error. And then half the time as I say, hey, everyone go out and have lunch. And when they come back, I say, I've got our shot. So I get rid of everyone and I'll get the shot. But even with my own work, sometimes I need 2 hours to get the model in that exact headspace I need them in. And this is another reason why I don't have assistants, and that is because when I'm shooting with a model, there's no eyes on them. My head's buried behind a camera. Just think about yourself, you've been photographed and there's someone with, you can't see their eyes, it's behind a camera, but there's someone standing 45 degrees off them with their arms crossed just staring at you. She's going to feel you there. So I just don't have that. I don't allow anybody else to sit in and watch on me. Beck's normally working on a computer and I'm just going stupid with the model, getting her into the headspace I want. And there's a lot of times, especially when we're setting for an exact picture, that once we get the picture, I'll actually go, that's it, we've got it, that's it, done. And that will be the last frame. We got the shot.
Okay. So then. Okay. But that can only come with experience, though. Yeah.
And you say you're shooting mainly on your Hasselblad, aren't you? Mainly your medium format, predominantly all the time?
In the studio, yeah. In the studio, I would say 90% of the work in the studio is on my Hass, and it's normally on my 50 megapixel H series.
But either way, the file size, your storage, you must have like
4 terabyte a month.
How much?
4 terabyte a month.
4 terabytes a month. Jesus Christ.
But that's video and stills.
Okay.
Yeah. But
okay,
we're pretty much, we're buying 4 terabyte every month.
Jeez. That's a lot, isn't it? And so out of, say for example, all your shoots that you, in one shoot, say you shot 300 frames on your, Hassie 50. Are you keeping every single one of those still? Or do you go through and go, delete?
All right, so my studio work and my commercial work, when we finish the shoot, I'm tethered to my main computer in the studio, which is on wheels. That has just in your pictures folder, which is the quickest place to tether into. Never go to your desktop, it's too slow. Go into your pictures folder. We've got a capture folder in there. It's just called FFF, which is my Hasselblad folder. At the end of the shoot, that will be copied onto one of my portable hard drives, which is a 4 terabyte. It will also be copied back into the studio backup.
Okay, right. Yeah.
Every single frame, including blackout frames, including dud, whatever, every single frame goes into the studio backup. Cool. That's never looked at unless we have a problem with our other 2 backups.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Sure.
So when my portable drive, which is, I'll take that home, I'll just rip the shit out of it. I'll just go through, either the client will already pre-marked it, or I'll just go through and go delete. So I know that I've got that other copy. And if I'm hitting delete, they're no good pictures anyway.
Yeah,
I'm not going to keep them. Once I finish doing all my deleting and marking and grading, then it'll be backed up again in my home backup. And you've got to have 3 backups. I've lost 4 terabyte of images in my life with 2 backups.
Okay.
You need 3. I've just found, right? Shit happens.
Yeah, it does.
So the first time we were moving studios, and when we opened the backup cupboard, I'm not going to get the story, but all my backup drives had been destroyed. They were a liquid lump at the bottom of the cupboard.
Ooh.
I won't even go into the story. But so I think it was $26,000 worth of drives I had to buy. Then we started backing up, and then one of our main drives failed halfway through a backup and scratched the crap out of the disk. I could keep all my Canon files, and I could keep all my thumbnails of the Hasselblad, but I could not keep one single file of the Hasselblad because they're too big.
Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it? Yeah, storage. So it's important, folks, if you're listening to that, you want to keep that work forever, you've got to back it up, and definitely in one location.
There's a thing that's it's not if a hard drive fails, it's when a hard drive fails.
Yeah, always, yeah. It's
Remember
that when factor. Yeah.
And it'll always fail when you least want it to fail.
Yeah. Yeah, I had one flag up recently that it was degrading. I was like, what? One of my RAID systems is like, no, don't degrade.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Certainly got my attention.
Do you have a preference, Peter, about shooting on location or in the studio? Do you prefer the comfort of the studio so you have complete control, or do you enjoy the excitement of shooting on location and not knowing what's going to happen?
I still get a big buzz out of it. Shooting on location is like shooting live with a band, playing live with a band. So I do enjoy that. You never know what's going to happen. It's normally some really bad shit and some really good shit. In the studio, we can control light, weather, heat, all those type of things. We don't have public getting in our way. We don't have policemen trying to move us on, or security guards, whatever.
Put some clothes on.
And whatever. But it's that not knowing what's going to happen next, which I really enjoy. And working with natural light's a pain in Australia, especially Melbourne. We have 4 seasons each hour.
Oh, wow.
Okay. If you don't like the weather, wait 20 minutes.
Wow, challenge.
Oh, okay.
Jeez.
Okay. Wow. Okay.
So there's a bit of both.
One way of planning your day shoot, I suppose.
If you don't like the weather, wait 20 minutes.
But no, look, they're both good and bad. I find if I spend too much time on one of them, I get bored with it, so I really crave the other one. So it's really fun shooting in Airbnbs because the pictures we see when we book them, we're expecting this place to look like this. We walk in and go, oh my God, it's nothing like this. How can we do a shoot?
It's so true.
But then, we just did a tutorial that we did in Barcelona with this stunning Brazilian model, and showing people what I could do in a lounge room and my bedroom, which was tiny, with a rainy day, crappy light. And we had to use natural light because the light in the actual place was terrible. Mm-hmm. And even the model, I took a picture and then showed her the back of the camera, and she just looked behind her and looked back at me. How in the fuck did you just do that? So it's things like that which just make it really fun when you're in those really bad environments. You still manage to pull studio quality, beauty headshots and things like that out of them.
That's a skill. Yeah, that's a skill.
Yeah, skill set.
Yeah. So what does the dream Peter Coulson shoot look like? No holds barred, no limits on money, budget, anything like that. What is what is a dream shoot for you personally?
It's going to be
one light. No, in fact, no lights. Natural.
I'm just going to let myself out.
Natural light in Chernobyl or somewhere, one of those dilapidated, wrecked cities in Russia with Kate Moss.
Okay.
Oh.
Okay. Good answer. Okay. Like it.
Yeah, definitely varied, isn't it?
Kate Moss is my. I don't know. She's the head of my bucket list as someone that I've watched her work. I'm obsessed by, not stupidly obsessed, but I think the more she ages, the more interesting
Truth's coming out now,
she
Peter.
gets.
Truth's coming out.
But yeah, Kate Moss is like number one on my bucket list of who I'd love to shoot, and I'd love to shoot just a natural light, no hair, no makeup, wearing boyfriend clothes or half boyfriend clothes.
Nice.
In Chernobyl. Okay.
In some just nothing place that's got incredible grungy walls and nice different pattern lights.
I'll just make a quick phone call for you, Peter. We'll get that set up at the end of this podcast.
Yeah. I think it's good to have those goals and dreams, though. It's good to have that like focus, that target. I think because sometimes you can ask somebody that and they've got no clue, and it's like that's so weird. I find that really bizarre. Like you ask them that and they just have no clue at all. It's like so you're just at sea without a rudder, sort of thing. It's it's interesting, but yeah, I do think it's really important to have those goals. Yeah.
Yeah, look, and if it's just there'd be other people that I'd put up there. Some of the women that are famous and have aged gracefully, like Angelina Jolie. But I'd like to catch her natural. I'd like to shoot her and say nobody in the world's going to see these pictures. It's for you and me only. So just different people like that to be able to shoot them, so they don't model, they don't pose, they don't act, they just be themselves, as if they were in their own house with their own kids.
So you would still be a photographer then if nobody saw your images?
Yeah, because the image is for me, not for anybody else. And this is where most photographers get it wrong. I take photos for me.
Yeah. Okay.
And a lot of photographers, I think, especially on social media and things, and not that I'm picking on anybody out there at all, but you do see a lot of it where people are taking pictures and then saying, look at me, rather than shooting for themselves. They're wanting the attention, not their imagery.
One thing that annoys me a bit is the amount of people that say, "Oh, what celebrities have you shot?"
Yeah.
God, yeah.
And
that's true.
And I've shot celebrities, but I don't tell anybody because I much rather shoot someone nobody's ever seen or never seen it before, don't even know, and go, that is amazing, that is stunning. Then, oh, you shot Kim Kardashian? So which one makes me a better photographer?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You get it a lot. It's like, have you shot anyone famous? I get that question a lot.
Yeah.
Crazy world.
Shot anyone famous?
Yeah. A lot of your images are very raw looking, and is that by design? Do you spend a lot of time in post-pro to get them looking natural like that, or is it just pretty much what you see is what you get?
Some I have to dirty them up, like break them a little bit because they are looking too digital, too clean. Mm-hmm. But a lot of the time, I'm trying to shoot it as close as I can in camera to what I actually want. So, and like you say, I get through a lot of work done a week, but a lot of my retouching might be 5 to 10 minutes max.
Mm.
Okay.
Oh, dream job, Jay.
Okay, so it's
dream job.
Yeah. Very, yeah. But no, I mean, and that certainly makes sense for the type of work that you're doing in terms of the subject. It is purely about the subject and that connection. You don't want to, you don't want anything else distracting from that. You said about dirtying them up. What do you mean about they're looking too digital? What do you mean by that?
Normally, if they're looking too digital, I tend to. There's a couple of little tricks that I do. One of them is if I'm in, say, ACR, I will push my contrast to the max, and I'll push my blacks, and I'll push my shadows to the max. And it breaks the image but fixes it at the same time, and it gives it this sort of a bit of a filmy grunge to it. So it throws a contrast, but your blacks are actually lightening, not darkening. And there's certain little tricks I do with different things, which is actually what I call breaking the image, actually purposely lighting to then throw a really harsh curve on, so I've still got detail in the blacks. It's...
Okay.
It's like and especially, Jake, you'd know yourself, when you're setting up your gels and moving stuff around, you can see with your eyes before you even take your picture that this is the feel I want or this is not the feel I want. And there's lots of people...
For sure, yeah.
There's lots of uni students and that do gels, and you just go, oh, my God, uni student. Because they have... Well, I'm not putting them down. They just haven't done the years of work to finesse those little things.
Yeah.
And... I've spent many, many years of finessing, trying to pull the digital out of my shots. So just finding ways that, and I shoot on the Hasselblad a lot, natural light. This is my own work at 800 ISO because you get like this like grain. It's not like beautiful a digital grain. Noise. It's more like a grain. And then I don't have anything that's razor sharp. So you can go in the lashes, they're sharp, but they're not razor sharp because I don't want razor sharp. One thing that I really push hard, that the amount of sharp is like salt or like sugar. So the more you sharpen, the more you're going to sharpen. So I don't sharpen my RAWs. I do not sharpen my TIFFs, and I'll only ever sharpen my JPEGs for what they need to be sharpened to make up for what they're going to lose in the process of printing or going on the internet, which is very little.
Fair, yeah.
I never sharpen my RAWs. The very first thing I show everybody all the time is I turn sharpening off. Our gear is too sharp.
Yeah.
And if you get a picture up and if you want to check how sharp your picture is, put your hand next to your screen. If your picture is sharper than your hand,
It's too sharp.
it is digital. It doesn't look real. It's digital.
That's just one hell of a way of looking at it, and so bloody true as well. Okay. Yeah, it always jumps back to that, sharpness and bokeh thing, doesn't it? At the beginning, it's, our photographers today looking for the wrong things for the wrong reasons.
Yeah.
Yeah,
they should be looking at getting a picture amazing in camera and just using the digital tools just to do the things that you can't do, just to finesse it up. But the soul of the picture should be taken on the day. It shouldn't be. And one thing I do push very much is if you went to a gathering of people and they said, "What do you do for a living? Do you want to call yourself a photographer or a retoucher?"
Ooh, back at you, Jake.
I've done all mine done in camera. Yeah.
But there's nothing wrong with there's some people out there that are they're retouching might be the wrong word, but it's image creators. They're not really photographers. They're taking some photos, but they're actually creating the image in a computer.
Yeah, and like you said at the start there, ask yourself a question: do you want to be one or the other? It's not. You're not saying that those people who want to go down that route are bad. It's just the fact that's be honest with yourself. If you want, just be honest. Yeah.
There's a lot of amazing digital artists out there that do that. No,
sure.
The same with songwriters. A lot of songwriters that can't play a single note. And I think Deadmau5 is one of them. And he opens up and says he can only play the piano with one finger, but he creates his stuff within the computer. And there's nothing wrong with that. And I don't have a problem with any of that. You need to be true to yourself. Because if you say I'm a photographer, but then your pictures actually have to be created in a computer, you're more a digital artist.
Yeah. But again, at the end of the day, that's it, isn't it? You're still saying that, you're representing.
You're still an artist.
As an artist, yeah, that's it. You're still an artist, but you use different mediums.
Yeah.
No, which is not, not a bad thing at all. Yeah. If that's, how you create your work.
I've got no problem with even DJs. Some of the DJs are amazing. They don't write notes. All they do is grab everyone else's song and cut them up and join them up. They're amazing artists, and I don't dish on them. To me, they're still a type of a musician. And someone who just even grabs stock footage and builds an image out of all stock footage, they're still an artist. There's a composite. They're the amazing composite photographers out there.
Yeah, I see some amazing composite creatives which have a vision on a piece of paper and a storyboard, and then they go and find the elements to create that, and then they create it. I mean, that's
true.
It's a talent, isn't it? It's still an artist's talent.
Yeah, it's a skill set in its own.
Yeah. Well, I think that's awesome, Jake. So far, should we do a round off on Inspire?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, phenomenal. Yeah, I mean, Jesus, we've kept Peter up long enough, I think. That's been absolutely amazing.
My ice is melted.
His ice is still.
Oh,
there.
I see. I know. Yeah,
it's not even melted, Peter. That ice, it still looks the same size. Okay. Sorry, Jake.
Yeah, but I was just going to say, I obviously want to give Peter plenty of chance to send people to his workshop and tutorial stuff there.
So, just to round it off, Peter, just tell us a little bit about Inspire and obviously your upcoming America tour in September.
In Inspire, I normally say to people, especially with our YouTube channel, go on there. With the YouTube, it's a pain doing live because we have all these problems. Everything is a nightmare live. We've gone through so much money trying to get multiple cameras and sound and all that, and then get it working live at 1080p and then have the internet back so it then breaks up during your live stream. But if you ignore the sound going up and down, things like that, the problems we can't cope with live stream, and you like the way that I've demonstrated, because we're not really teaching, we're just showing fly on the wall type of stuff, and I'll talk a bit. If you like that feel, jump onto Inspire, just buy a month. You sign on, you buy your month, you unsubscribe straight away. It gives you a full month. There's 260 videos up there, maybe 280 now. Wow. Videos up there. And it's everything.
That's just last week, Jake.
Jokes aside, I am definitely going to sign up. I'm genuinely interested after hearing all this and the way that you think and the way that you work. I'm genuinely going to check it out, and I would definitely recommend anybody else to do the same for sure. Yeah, phenomenal amount of content there, outstanding.
That, and it's just seeing how I really work. Where we aren't setting up. I've done something before with other companies where it was all pre-planned what we're going to do and what we're going to say. We don't do that. The cameras get turned on. And I just go, the camera's on, all right, we'll start. So today we're going to do this, and we just start working. And that's how they are. Yeah, I recommend if you want to look at my YouTubes, if you like the feel of what I do on YouTube, sign up for a month. It's only going to cost you around about $30, or I think it's about £20. If you don't like it, it's cost you £20. If you really hated it, send us an email and we'll refund you.
You can't say fairer than that. Yeah.
Just watch out for Jake's email then, Peter. Hi, I signed up to your workshop. Yeah, can I have a 20 quid back, please?
Yeah. A lot of it was in black and white. I'm not sure if that's going to be a common thing. Or
no, I do some colouring, and we're doing a little bit more on colour. We have done some colour tutorials, and I will be doing some more on colour. But then I also do my black and white version of as well. But yeah, that's with Inspire. With our workshops, we pretty much do Europe once a year. We do America once a year. We do Australia. We do China, and South America. We normally do once every 2 or 3 years. So we've got America coming up in August, September, which is LA, New York, Toronto, and then Orlando.
Damn. All sold out?
No, they're not all sold out yet. Toronto's really slow. But we found that last time we went to Toronto, about 4 years ago. They're a little bit like Germany. They want to learn, but they want to buy a lens at the same time. But LA,
it can be a little bit laid back up there, yeah.
LA, New York, there we're only maybe got 3 or 4 spots left in each of them. Orlando, I think we've got about 4 or 5 spots in Orlando, and Toronto, I think there's about 8 spots at this stage.
Okay.
And what dates are we talking about?
Exact dates. Oh, now you got me.
Put him on the spot. There's no Bex there with a glass of wine to answer that one, Jake.
No, mate.
I've got iPad. That's cool. So LA's on the 30th, 31st
of
August.
Okay.
30th, 31st, and 1st of September. So 30th, 31st of August, and 1st of September. New York is 7th and 8th of September. Toronto is 14th and 15th of September, and Orlando's 21st and 22nd of September.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, perfect. Okay, excellent,
awesome.
And
so yeah, if you're listening to this, go and check it out. If you're in that area, I can't. Yeah. I've actually got a couple of friends here who have actually been on your workshops in London in the past, and they speak very highly of it. So yeah, it comes recommended.
And there's always
we have another secret. We don't sort of make it public, but I'm about to make it public now. But we have a thing that if anybody at the end of the workshop said they didn't get their money's worth, we'd give them their money back. And we've never had anybody ever. We had someone upset on one workshop, but he was more upset he didn't like one of the other people on the workshop. We don't have any control over the people who.
Gosh.
So, but we still offered him his money back, and he said no, he didn't want to take it because he still felt he learnt a lot. So
okay, well,
fair play, Peter. Okay, yeah, well, you cannot do more than that. So that's amazing.
And then also in November you've got workshops coming up in Melbourne, Brisbane, and Sydney as well, haven't you?
Yeah, I can't give you dates for that yet. I think Bex put them up. Oh, she might.
I can tell you already, Peter. It's you've got it. You got it scheduled for November. You know, if
Wayne's had a glass
you want to
of
apply
wine,
me with some more wine, that's absolutely fine. I can give you this sort of feedback.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'll follow you around with a glass of wine. Yeah, just let me know.
No, that's brilliant. And before we sort of end the segment, Peter, there's something that we ask all of our guests. And here we ask you to personally recommend 2 artists. Now, that can be from either side of the photography or video world, and it can be any artist within those worlds as well. So not just photographers or cinematographers, it can be models, makeup artists, art directors, anything going down the ranks as well. So we ask you to recommend 2 people that you think would like to come on to Podlomania, onto our podcast, and have an episode with us. But of course, as we don't know them, we ask you to get in touch with them and recommend them to us and put them in touch.
Yeah, no, I can do that. So I don't have to tell you now.
Oh, you don't have to, no, unless you've got somebody, right on the brink of your mind, Kate Moss, anyone like that. Anyone on speed dial?
I will think about it, but I know enough people around. There's a video guy I'm thinking of from Sydney who's really switched on and cool. Yeah, and there's one of the Hasselblad masters that I know quite well. And I think if he's interested, he's got a completely different story. So I'll give him a call and see what he's interested.
Good. Okay,
excellent. No, that'd be awesome if that works. And just you can obviously mail us afterwards with the details on that. We'll put it in our scheduling list. And if you can also get in touch with them and give them our email addresses, and they can just pop us an email, and we can get that set up for the listeners. That'd be great.
Yeah, we can do that. That's easy.
Well, brilliant. Well, I think we're at the close of the episode there, Jake. Yeah?
Yeah, outstanding. Yeah.
So,
really, really interesting.
And before we go, Peter, just so we can refresh people's minds, where can our audience find you? All your social media and website contacts.
Website, it's peter-coulson.com.au is my website. If you go there, it has links to everything else.
Yeah.
So there is a link there to our online tutorials. There's a link there to our workshops page, but the Inspire one, which is inspire.peter-coulson.com.au.
Yeah.
And there's a workshops.peter-coulson.com.au.
Well remembered.
Or just type into Google my name and you'll find it comes up.
Yeah. It'll pop up all over the place. Yeah.
Yeah, like I do have a reasonable social media footprint and web footprint, so you should be able to find me pretty easy.
And you've got obviously Instagram at Peter Coulson, and then you've got Twitter, Vimeo, YouTube, all those places as well. Again, easiest thing is just type in your name.
Type in my name and you should be able to find all of them. And because some of them, some of you can't, you've got to change your name on each of them because there is another Peter Coulson in the world.
Yeah. Yeah.
What?
That's why I had.
You want to have a word?
Yeah,
you want to get on that?
He's a plumber in Melbourne.
Oh, okay. At least he's not another photographer or something. But Coulson is Coulson.
That's right.
Those who are curious.
Well, you're lucky. There's actually another Wayne Johns in Australia who befriended me on Facebook. Went, "Hi, Wayne. I'm Wayne," and he's remained a friend for years now. Another Wayne Johns. Who would have thought it? Poor guy.
I do sim racing as my relaxation for 1 hour a day, even though I come off covered in sweat. I was on the other night, and I just normally say, "Good luck, everyone. Don't kill me on the first corner." And someone's come on there. "Hi, Peter Coulson. This is Nick Coulson." And
Really?
he thought because he had the same second name as him that it was going to create a conversation. But
Wow.
I just went on.
What do you do? What do you do for an hour every day?
Well, I try to. I don't always get it in. You've robbed me of my day today, but sim racing.
Sim racing. And what's that?
What's that?
Yeah, I'm asking what's that as well. Now we've opened a can of worms.
It's not a game, but it's on a computer, and we car race on computers live around the world.
It's not a game? It sounds like a
Jake's
game.
into his game.
No.
He's interested.
He's in the game. This is not a game because it's real. You're actually racing against other drivers around the world. The tracks are digitally scanned. It's all the same technology that F1 and all the other car companies are using for their simulators to test their cars. So we have the same tyre models, the same tyre degradation. If you overheat tyres, you lose traction. If you crash on a race, you're out. There's no reset button. That's it, gone. If you put one tire off a track, you get a 1X. And for a 1.5 hour race, you might have allowed 17 of them. So imagine going around in normal games, and if you're going to track a tiny bit, you only got 17 for the whole game. If you hit another car, there's 4 X's, as well as the damage you've got, which will stuff up your aero. It's amazing. I don't have the time to get on.
Just send us the link.
Who would have known Peter Coulson was a nerd? Who would have known?
No, I'm a car racer.
Jake, does that sound like gaming to you?
I've not heard of that. That's interesting. Okay.
So Max Verstappen's on, all the top drivers in the world are on. The money now is massive. The Porsche Cup is $300,000 odd for that at the moment. And they live broadcast it, and they have commentators and everything.
You have to send us a link to it. Can you send us a link in an email?
This is like, I'm just, wow. Never heard of that.
I can send you links. There's amazing funny links, like the guys absolutely losing it, and they've got videos on themselves as well as streaming the race. You see them lose, they get out and they start smashing up their rooms. They get so angry, but it's
like rage quitting.
So
how much does it cost to enter this?
Definitely.
How much does it cost to enter this?
On the
Can anybody join up?
Yeah, anybody can join. On the iRacing platform's about $100 a year. Then you have to buy tracks and cars.
Okay.
But when you set up a rig like me, I'm fanatical. My rig's most likely, if I had to buy it, most likely $80,000.
Oh man, that is brilliant. Brilliant.
On my Facebook, if you go on my Facebook page, on my personal page, so not the photographer, Peter Coulson photographer, I'll send you a link. But you'll see, I did one lap around, I think Road America in a BMW M8, and you'll see how much my seat moves. I actually wear racing gloves, racing shoes.
This is with the steering wheel and stuff.
Yeah, but the steering wheel's got something which has got like 140 torque behind it.
So you got
my
tension.
brake pedal,
so you actually feel it.
My brake pedal's about 120 kilo to push into full.
I think another episode's coming up, Jake, where we actually get a live
Mate, that is
of Peter's racing chair and everything he's got
the
back
secret life of Peter Coulson.
It's
brilliant.
I needed this when my life wasn't going so well. I needed an out because I didn't have an out. Like I was literally doing nothing. I needed some time out. And I've always been into karting and racing. We just don't have time. This is I've got a man cave that's as fully built for it. I go in and I do my 1A race a night, which means I go in, I qualify, I get my qualified position. I'll do my race, and I'll get out there either angry that I got taken out in the first corner and I'm 6 laps down because I was in the pits, or I fought my way back from 25th place to 3rd place. So
I see my studio being converted, Jake, soon. It's like a little man cave out here for a little racing unit.
Well, if you're into it, go on, because I can tell you what times I'm racing, and
that'd be awesome. Yeah, you can send us some. Peter, you got to send us some details on that. That'd be amazing.
I'll send you some links.
Thank you.
Wow, what a way to end
that is.
That bombshell.
We'll put all that juicy info in the podcast. Might just keep that for Wayne and Jake.
Keep that for Wayne and Jake. Yeah, no, but I'll send you a couple of links to funny stuff, and you'll actually laugh at how serious some of these people take it.
That'll be brilliant. I look forward to that.
And real racing car drivers, like Nicky Finn, who won GT, his GT world champion. He races for Aston Martin, and he did one the other night, and someone's done something to him, and he said, "You're going to go to hell. I'm going to get banned for 2 weeks." And he was lining this car to completely slam him on the corner. He's just going to hit him at full speed, not brake for the corner. He's just going to go inside. So he said, "I'm going to get banned. I'm going to get banned. I don't give a fuck." And he's just going, "I'm going to get banned." And he's missed him by about 1 millimeter and slammed straight into the wall. So he's ridden himself out. He didn't take out the guy he wanted to take out, and it's just so funny.
Oh man, we've got to get some insight into that, and I'm looking forward to seeing these links to these clips. It's entertainment for the day.
They are real entertainment.
Wow. I know, yeah.
Brilliant. Right. Let's get this round up before we keep Peter up till sunrise, because this could go on for hours. Right, folks? Well, to stay up to date and to be the first to know about new episodes on all creative things from the photography and video world, Make sure you subscribe to our podcast at podlemania.podbean.com/subscribe. And if you like this episode, don't forget to subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts, iTunes, Stitcher, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and Podbean. And remember, please give us a like and don't forget to comment because it does help us in our rankings. But I think as a final close, we got to give this almighty man a massive thanks. Thanks for joining us, Peter Coulson. We really look forward to catching up with you in another episode at a later date. If you can come back and share some more of that worldly knowledge.
Sim racing
Part 2.
We need to know. Yeah, thank you, Peter. I appreciate it, man. Yeah,
No,
yeah,
it's
brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
absolute pleasure. And I'll have to make sure next year when I'm in the UK that we have a couple of pints together.
Yeah,
100%.
that'd be good.
Yeah,
Man. Yeah.
we'll make it happen next time for sure. Just tell Bex we'll bring wine. She'll be all right. She'll book you in.
She'll make sure it happens.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, exactly.
Peter, thank you ever so much. And we'll let you get off and get another hour's work in before bedtime, before the sun rises.
No worries.
Take care. Thank you very much.